Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 44th, we think, episode of the Londonderry View. Tonight we have three very special guests with us. We have Julie, Stephen, and Larry, and they're here from Concerts on the Common, which is going to be starting June 3rd. It's right around the corner for us. So we've got a lot of learning and sharing to do, and we'd love to hear how did it get started, and when does it run, and some of the acts. So give us the lowdown.
Sure. So Londonderry Concert on the Common, we're really under the umbrella of the Londonderry Arts Council, which Larry is our chairman. And so we're one piece of that, and there's kind of a music side and there's an art side to the Arts Council, and it's on the music side, obviously. And we've been going for, this will be our 18th season.
18th season.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was started by Brian Farmer way back, and I was helping him then, and he kind of ran things, and I was helping him, and then as things progressed, it kind of just flipped over, and then we kind of
Well, yeah,
carried
exactly.
the ball
Yeah, Brian
forward,
got
so.
more busy with his
Yeah, it
job,
was-
so
yeah, he had some
we needed
work commitments.
Exactly. Yeah, so that
We
Stephen
wanted
and
to
I,
keep it going.
and then Larry
Then we
joined
got
us
Larry
a few
involved.
years ago.
Yeah, I got involved around the turn of the century, I think, so
Yeah, around.
it's been a while. It's been a fun run. So I like to say that.
But we're sponsor driven. That's one of the big. We do get a little bit of money from the town, but the vast majority of the funds are generously donated by towns, our businesses in town, and we have different levels. I can run through them just quickly because we do really appreciate quite a bit the very generous businesses and groups.
We couldn't do it without
We can't do it without it. Yeah, we can't get free bands. So, but we have different levels. We're premier level, and we have Mark Oswald with Better Homes and Gardens, the Masiello group. And what's special about Mark is that he's been sponsoring the concerts from day one. So
I remember that because going back, I think, to the beginning, but there used to be almost like a blow-up hot air balloon.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was
I
great
remember
at that.
that.
Yeah.
And
when he was with Remax,
Remax, yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
was
Yes,
then.
exactly.
And it was such like just everyone you kind of knew when you started to see that out that wow, Concerts on the Common
And,
was
and Mark,
coming around.
Mark comes to almost all of the concerts,
Yeah, he
always
really-
brings bubbles or little beach balls and hands them out to the children, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's really
nice.
special.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
And then we have Market Basket, and they've been, I think, just 1 or 2 years less than Mark. They've been
Yeah,
a
long
supporter for a
time.
long time. Corporate Cost Control, which is a company Julie works for, and they help us quite a bit. They help us by letting us print all of the programs and
Exactly.
the literature and the letters and things that we send
Besides a
out.
cash donation
Yeah,
as well.
besides. Then Londonderry Freezer Warehouse, Shady Hill, and Shady Hill, they provide plants, flowers, and trees for the bandstand. For
Oh,
each
that's true.
concert,
This
which is really special.
Right, right. I mean, Shady Hill, what Ron does is he will either come himself or he sends a truck every single concert evening, and he always has
Loaded with
a
plants,
vision in
yeah.
mind. He has
Yeah.
colors all
It's always
coordinated,
different.
and he tells them exactly how to arrange them on the bandstand so that it's like an instant scenery basically on so the bandstand is not
Just
just
Right.
bare for the performers. It looks like old home day.
It
Yeah,
does.
exactly. So it really does look
And it's
nice.
funny because Ron is very particular about it.
He's
when
very
they put it all
particular.
up, he kind of steps back and says, no, and he'll go up there and he'll
Yeah.
start
He'll
moving things
arrange
around and to get things just the
He's
way he
great.
likes it. So it's really fun. Then we have Stonyfield Organic and Stonyfield Yogurt right in town. And besides the cash donation, they also provide yogurt every week.
Right.
And so we have a free raffle, which is a lot of fun. We go around with tickets after the concert starts, and we're tearing off tickets.
Everybody
and
gets a ticket.
Everybody
They're
gets a
completely
ticket,
free.
from little baby to whoever.
Yeah. No
And,
dogs, though.
so many times people will say, well, they start reaching for their wallet, and it's like, no,
No, it's free.
It's free. It's a free raffle. And then Precision Pest Control, Hannah Environmental and Energy, Calvin Dental Associates, eBright and Smart Family Dentistry, Allstate, Linda Nutter Krantz, and then Sorolina Boutique.
Right.
Thank you.
That's a brand new boutique that's
Oh, next
adjacent to
Salon
Salon
Bogar.
Bogar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful place to go in if you're looking for special, just to feel like
Yeah.
you've stepped out of everything. It's
Yeah,
really beautiful.
Great people there.
Yeah.
And then gold level, we have Max Apples, and they also help Londonderry Arts Council in general by hosting Art in Action once or twice a year, and we can talk about that a little bit later. And then Wire Belt Company of America, Nussbaum Electric, Hickory Sticks Barbecue, and that's the barbecue truck which we've had. This will be our 3rd year, I think.
At
with
least,
them.
yes.
And so when we kind of just pulled to get figured out that they were in town and asked them if they would like to set up at every concert, that for me that was like hallelujah, because they have fantastic barbecue.
Yeah, it's great barbecue.
And the
yeah.
sides are really
Yeah,
good.
and
so,
they really enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really enjoy coming. And
I always
now
like
they-
to say that we have the best smelling concerts in
We
the
do.
state.
Smelling, yeah.
Absolutely,
You can smell it up and down Mammoth Road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know when it's a Wednesday
Do
night.
they come to every concert?
They do.
every concert, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
they do.
we buy the bands. We always provide dinner for them.
Right,
Which
yeah.
if they don't know, if it's their first time, they always are kind of surprised because they don't expect to get dinner there.
Right.
But it's great because they always love the barbecue.
They do. And Hickory Sticks, they'll give us a gift card for every
Right.
single concert to raffle off
It's part of
free.
the free
Oh,
raffle.
my
So
gosh.
everybody,
Yeah.
you know, anybody who wins it gets $15 for the
Well,
barbecue
Julie,
truck.
these are the things that people need to hear.
Oh,
And we have
absolutely.
no idea that this goes on behind the
Right.
scenes.
Absolutely.
And asking for sponsors is tough, and it's a burden on the sponsors because
Yeah.
it's money and
Yeah.
constant time that.
But to
I
have
mean,
the
you know.
constant
Yeah.
repeat.
Yeah. Oh, and these
Yeah.
people that,
Donations.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Great.
really nice to know that.
Some of these, I don't have the years in front of me, but some of these sponsors have been doing it just for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's the engine that makes this thing all work. So we really
Yeah.
Right.
appreciate that.
Right.
And then one other gold level is Ahern, Nichols, Ahern, Hershey, and Butterfield.
Hershey.
Hershey, sorry,
Yes.
and Butterfield Family Dentistry. And then the silver level, we have Ford of Londonderry, Infinity Realty Group, Nellie Dowdy of Harbor One Mortgage, Londonderry Pediatrics, and Nutfield Eye Associates. And just today, we got another check in the mail from the Uncle Ben's ice cream truck, and they're a bronze level this year.
Right.
But
And
we're
they come to every concert
And
as
they
well.
are also,
Yeah, Dottie comes every,
comes,
yeah.
yes.
So
Always
that's
buy
as
ice
of
cream.
today, and we're still inviting members of the business community to contribute and support the concerts
Absolutely.
right up until the season starts, and even after the concerts kick off. It's really a great way for business leaders in the community to give back and to make a more personal connection with the people in town, you know.
That is a great point. Never
Yeah.
too
Right.
late to join on as a sponsor.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've kind of pushed the budget this year with some of the bands that we've booked, and so we're still looking for
Yeah, we're still a little
some more
short.
sponsors.
Yeah,
So-
well, that's a great point, because I've been coming to the concerts and been involved for many, many years, and it really started out on a kind of a small scale, and over the years, we've been able to upgrade the quality of the talent, attract more people, make it a really nice event for people. And one of the things that I am really thrilled about over the last couple of years is that more young families are coming to the concert.
Oh,
And so if
yeah.
you're a business person and you're trying to engage with people that are moving into the town and are planning routes here, what better way to make
It's
a
real
connection with
opportunity,
new customers. And
You know, that's a good point, because thinking back to years ago, it was more of an older crowd initially.
Yeah,
True.
You know,
it really
like,
was.
you know, we'd come but now, I mean,
Right.
the last
little
like
kids.
7, 8,
Yeah.
it's families,
Yeah.
young
Right.
families, and they're having fun and they're playing around and they're having snacks and they're on their blanket.
Yeah.
But that's a very good point, because it's transitioned
It has
beautifully.
changed,
And
yeah.
you still have, all of us that have been there for
Right.
years.
Sure,
And
enjoying,
Bob,
yeah.
and all the different people that bring their fold-out chair, and it's just on their schedule every week. But yeah, the young families, it's more young families.
Oh.
I
And
think,
it's
yeah.
great, it's just great. And there's lots of
Yeah.
space there for the little bit older kids to be throwing a football or a frisbee and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then
A
we've
lot of
got,
that.
we've been bringing a bubble machine for the past few years.
Yeah, at least 4.
Yeah, and the
it's
little
fun.
kids, I mean, the little ones, they just go
Just
bananas.
dancing it
They'll
all
just-
night.
An hour and a half of dancing in bubbles. I mean, they're
I have to watch, because I'll know when the bubbles slow down, that it's running out of juice, so I have to go and I have to fill it, because
Yeah.
then they're disappointed.
Because they don't understand
Exactly,
that.
Yeah.
exactly.
So that was from someone who used to help, and they moved out of town, but that was her
Her
idea
idea.
a few years ago. And
Yeah, it's
was-
a huge hit.
yeah, it was a huge,
huge
hit.
hit.
So it's the little things, right?
It really
Yeah.
is. I love when you see the
Definitely
little
is.
ones dancing, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
down
Yeah,
in
yeah.
front of the stage.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, they don't want any of us big ones to, but sometimes you see older
They-
people.
they
I know,
definitely
it's
do.
wonderful.
They
all
definitely do.
ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just, if we could run through the schedule, we always start out with the high school jazz ensemble, and so that's June 3rd. It's a little confusing because that's on a Monday. That's the only concert that we have on a Monday. They're normally on Wednesdays, but because it's the senior week and that's,
Right.
we have to kind of dovetail into their schedule. So it's a last, it's just kind of special because it's the last concert for the seniors.
The senior
Um,
students, right, exactly.
And so it's a lot of fun. And then June 12th, we have the Wyndham Swing Band, and we've had them several times, and it's great, especially with the 300th anniversary, we wanted to
Yeah.
get Wyndham up here.
Right, exactly.
So, and then we kick it off with the Brian Mace Band, and Brian has played with people that have played with Boston, with, I don't even remember, I should have looked up all of the bands that he's played with, but really big names over the years. And his wife, Mary Beth, is just an unbelievable singer too, and she just really hits them out
They're
of
a
the
lot of
park.
fun. They do a lot of 80s and that sort of thing, but
Covers,
it's,
yes.
yeah, really, really good.
And then we have, what's the sax player's name?
Mark
Belanger.
Belanger, right.
Yes, we always ask.
He's a local guy,
He's
and
a
he
local
plays
guy.
with
And
Brian.
we always asked if they could get him to sit in with them, and so it's nice
Yeah.
to see him out there. And then we had the Delta Generators with Brian Templeton, and Brian used to live in town, and he's a blues music performer, and he's probably played the concerts more than anyone, I would
think
guess,
so,
over the years.
right, over the
because
years.
we've had him in different bands that he's in, and a lot of times it's just pickup bands, but he's played for so long, he knows these great musicians, and you can tell that they're not necessarily had rehearsed all the songs together, but they are so, again, this is what we go for, it's just musicians that really can play.
Yeah,
And you
professionals,
can
yeah,
see them
exactly.
just kind of giving each other cues during the songs.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know that, okay, we're going into a break here, or, we're gonna stop the song now,
Yeah,
right now.
they're fun to watch,
And they're a
certainly.
lot of fun to watch. And the current band he's in, the Delta Generators, these guys are just monster players.
Yeah.
And they're really.
He's really dynamic, and you talk
yes.
about
Gets
getting
the
people
crowd
up on
going.
their feet to
Literally,
dance.
literally, yeah.
He'll get out in the audience and really
Yeah.
get things
Yeah.
stirred up. So
Brian's
it's a
great,
lot
because
of
he was a
fun.
local guy. He's in Goffstown now, but
He lived in
Right.
Londonderry for
For
many,
many years, yeah.
He's actually the only guy, only performer that's ever had to back out of, call up and say, I can't, we booked him and he said, no, something came up. And what it was, again, he's a professional performer, and he got booked over in Europe.
I was just
But-
going to say, because people don't, he's been all over Europe.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got
Yeah.
CDs you can
Yeah.
buy, or
Oh,
he'll
he's
get,
great. Yeah.
but
He's
he really is.
He's
He's
really
quite a
good.
name to think that he lived in Londonderry all that
Exactly.
time,
And now he's a
you know,
farmer in
yeah, and
Goffstown.
right, like selling, chicken. I mean, he has
Yeah.
his eggs and
Yeah.
meat
Exactly.
and, yeah, beautiful.
That's something.
Yeah.
So, but that was
Good
perfectly
people.
fine. I mean, we had plenty of lead time. It wasn't like the last minute or anything like that. So, but it was like, Brian,
Yeah, it's okay.
it's
Go to
fantastic. Go to
Yeah,
Europe, buddy.
Well, one time I remember too, it was getting rained out a little,
Hmm.
so he had to perform. Is it in the middle school gym or the high school?
It was probably at
In
the
the
high
high
school.
High
school.
school.
Cafeteria.
And
Yes.
here he is, and he really is a big name,
Yeah.
especially, and there we're all like, we're just on the floor in the gym,
Yeah.
and there he is on the stage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's so humble, the whole family.
No,
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
No.
and that's
He's a
what's kind
super
of
nice
nice
guy.
about what you've all achieved, is that
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful gathering of, and people from Derry go, right, Bonnie, you live in Derry, and, it's
Oh, we
people
have
from
people
all over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Hudson folks come and really.
Some of the names
Now,
we've had
do you,
people from.
do you have a website
We do.
Yep. and
that
it's
you could
concerts.
give at the end of this?
Oh,
So
sure.
if somebody wants to give a donation.
Oh.
Yeah, we do
use-
have a
oh.
sponsors page on our website. It's if you go to concertsonthecommon.org, there's other pages on this website, and one of them is sponsors, and sponsors can download the the sponsor
Form,
form and
Right.
mail it in to us, or there's also a way they can email us and we can send them information. So,
That's
yeah,
good.
concertsonthecommon.org.
Get in touch with us that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, Bonnie,
Very
that's a
good.
good point, because it doesn't always have to be the big $500.
No.
But if I had
Be the
20 that I just wanted to
Wanna
send a
donate,
check and
just
say I
send it,
appreciate, that's a very good point,
Yeah, and that's something that at the concerts, actually, we've had people very generously say, hey, I'd like to give you $20 just to, for the concerts and stuff. And we always say, no, because at the concerts, we don't want any money.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
then
Right.
that means the guy next to him feels like, I
Yeah.
can pull my wallet
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and
that's
this is
not
a
what
free
we're all
event
about.
for the
It's a
community.
free event, and so that's.
Although we do have an anonymous donor, the three of us know who this individual is, but every week we're provided with a gift card from a local business, Home Depot or Market Basket, and we include it in the raffle.
Yeah,
But
he donates it
every
every week.
week.
he's a huge. I just gave away the gender, so
Oh,
that,
we got it, that's right.
We'll
you
never
got
tell.
some clue. But anyway, he loves music. He's a huge fan, and he's very generous that way. But he
Yeah.
doesn't want
Doesn't
to be
want
in
any
the limelight at
recognition.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
it's
So-
fantastic.
We include that in the raffle every week.
Yeah.
We do.
And so that's Delta Generators, and then we have no concert. We always take a break and
On July 4th. yeah,
4th,
the week of July 4th.
because people are on vacation, they're out of town and such, and so
We needed a little bit
we
of a
did-
break.
yeah, breathing
Lord,
room.
yeah.
And then we come back July 10th with Bruce Marshall Group, and Bruce has been playing for us for several years too. And
One of my favorites.
Oh,
yeah.
he's amazing.
Just him and the guitar player and the drummer and the bass. I mean, all of
These
them,
are
honestly.
these are professional
Yeah.
players. And
They played with the Marshall Tucker Band. Lots. I mean, you look. I've got it on the website. If you go to concertsonthecommon.org, that's actually our schedule. And if you scroll down to Bruce or any of these guys, I have a blurb I've written up to kind of explain who they are. And if you click on that, you can go to their websites too to listen to their music, and learn a little more about them. But phenomenal people. Then we have Amity Drive, and it's a country band. This is kind of it's a new one for us. So we've learned about them how we normally do, which is through YouTube videos, and if they send us any music and stuff like that. And we know the drummer, Sean, and he's played in several bands that have played for us, and we know that he's just top notch, and so that's the people he associates with. And so
Yeah.
I have
know.
no concerns that they're not going to be fantastic.
And
Very
it-
exciting.
As Stephen said, it's a country band, so we like to hit as many genres
right,
as
yeah.
as we can, so that everybody gets
Gets a
something that they
little
really
something.
like.
Yeah,
They like.
yeah. Then the next week is Sean's back again, and he's the drummer this time with All Summer Long, which is a
Beach Boys
cover
tribute
band,
band.
and they are just really, really good.
They're
They played for
phenomenal.
us a few times over
Yeah,
the years.
they definitely.
And
They've
they're
played out
really
at
good.
Hampton Beach many
Yeah.
times. Like every year they play at Hampton
Yeah,
Beach.
Hampton
So
Beach, yeah.
And it's
yeah,
packed
they're a lot of
then, as
fun.
I remember those nights,
Yeah,
right?
they're
Yeah.
really good.
Beautiful.
So you want to be wearing a Hawaiian.
yeah, exactly. That's the dress code for
That's
that
the
night.
dress code
yeah.
that night. And then the next night is certainly going to be one of the real highlights for me. It's a band called High South. They're out of Nashville. So this is kind of a bigger name
Coming
for us.
all the way from Nashville
just
to
for us.
Londonderry.
That's
And I learned about them actually kind of roundabout. I listened to a podcast about home theater, because whatever, and I've listened to it for years and years, these two guys. And it's just sponsor driven, kind of like us. And but if you give them like a $25, you get to do a shout out of I have a website and visited stuff like that. But somebody gave them a donation, and their shout out was that, hey, I was in Toronto and I saw this band High South, and wow, they just knocked my socks off. And I'm thinking to myself, that has nothing to do with home theater or anything like that. So they must be awfully good for him to
Right.
even mention them. So I came home and we Googled them, and it's like, wow, these guys are really good.
Yeah,
And
we listened to them on their website.
They
They're
never
really,
play
really
for
good.
us up in Londonderry, New Hampshire, But the thing is, all they could say is no.
That's how you have to, that's
So-
how we look at it with the show. We, talk to different people and,
Yeah.
yeah.
And all they can say is I'm busy,
That's
or
right,
you
yeah.
know what, it's going to be too expensive, and it was expensive, but
So Stephen contacted the manager and entered into a dialogue,
Yeah.
a negotiation. It ended
Negotiation.
up being a negotiation,
Yeah.
and we booked them.
Yeah.
We booked them,
So
and
we
they're really
cannot
thrilled to
wait.
come.
Yeah, then, yeah, absolutely.
And we have heard them. I mean,
We have, yes.
We went and saw them live.
Yeah.
Right, they were actually performing in March down in Situate, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we braved Friday afternoon rush hour traffic
Brutal.
on the South
Brutal.
Shore.
That's-
And my wife joined us that evening, and I kept saying, they better be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we were stuck in
Well,
traffic, and
Larry
they were
wasn't
just,
disappointed.
Yeah, Larry was
They
a
were
little,
just amazing.
Yeah, I think
They
you're
were
a little
amazing.
on the fence there because of the
Because of
cost,
the
and
cost.
they absolutely understood.
Yeah.
It was a budget buster,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But I think once you heard them, it was like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they are just tremendous. And
Yeah.
I won't give away their style or their,
think
some of their
everybody can-
specialties, but they are really, really, really good.
yeah.
So,
We
looking
might have
forward
to
to
have a
that.
view outing over at that.
Oh,
one.
that would be
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
great, right? It'd be
Yeah.
kind of
that's
fun.
July
good
31st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That would
that's
be a good
something from
idea.
Nashville. My
Yeah.
daughter just went to Nashville last
Oh, wow.
weekend.
Yeah.
Said it was incredible.
Yeah, it's a big
Friendly,
destination
warm.
now.
Yeah, really, people are moving there. And,
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
band, she said, one is better than the next and
Right.
amazing. So to have one of them come here,
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
exciting.
it's 3 guys and they just sing like one person. Just,
Yeah, they're amazing,
Wow.
yeah.
Really
Yeah, actually, if you close your eyes, you will think you're listening to Crosby, Stills, and Nash
it really
in
is
terms
a-
of the harmonies.
yeah.
And one of the things they did that evening that really blew me away. I'm a struggling musician, so if you come out to the Nutfield sessions, you'll know exactly what I mean when you hear me.
I don't
Yeah.
think you're struggling that.
No,
far.
but they came off the stage. They love to mingle with the audience, and they came and did an a cappella brief set, 3 or 4
Yeah.
tunes in the
And-
middle of the crowd
oh my
without
gosh.
any microphones, instruments, or
Yeah.
amplification.
You could hear, I
And
mean,
the hair on the back of my neck is sticking up now because
Yeah.
of the memory of it.
They
It's
were
just
so
you
good.
could hear a pin drop, that's how
Yeah.
silent the
Yes.
crowd
That's the
was.
one regret I have. So, one of the things that you have to break to the band is that if it's raining, if it's bad weather, you're going to be in a high school cafeteria.
Right. that's-
And for these guys, I was dreading telling them that because, when's the last time they played in a high school cafeteria?
But we had an opportunity to meet them personally during one of the intermissions, and they're down to earth, really,
Yeah,
really great
they
guys.
have
They're
no
really
problem with
gracious,
that.
yeah.
So,
But I don't think they're going to be able to do that out on the
The
bandstand.
a cappella.
The
Yeah,
acapella.
No, no.
it
Because
wouldn't,
just-
it's not,
it wouldn't be
fitted,
loud
yeah.
enough.
right.
But so this is one time I'm thinking if we have rain, it won't be that bad. Because
Right.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
well,
It'll be a little more
When you're
It'll be-
complaining that day that it's raining,
yeah, that's true. We
we'll
will be in the
rerun this
Matthew
tape
Thornton.
and remind you that.
Yeah.
We'll be in
Oh,
the
that's
Matthew
right.
Thornton gym.
Right.
And they will be able to come down off the stage and do that
Oh,
little
right.
bit.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be the one silver
Saving
lining in
grace.
a
Exactly.
rainy day. Hopefully it's not raining. We'd rather have them on the bandstand. So High South, July 31st. Real looking forward to them. And then we have Help, which is a Beatles cover band, and they dress up like the Beatles, and they've played
Yeah.
for us past 3
At least 3 or
Yeah.
4 years, yes.
And that's a
one-
big night.
That's
They
a
have
big
a
night.
huge fan base that
Yeah.
travel up from
Paul, yeah.
Massachusetts, so
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of people on the
Yeah,
con.
Paul Lucier is the bass player, and he's a Londonderry guy.
Oh.
Guitar
I had
player.
him play at the senior center,
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
him? Just Paul?
just by himself.
Yeah,
We did
so
a
talented.
just to have like a coffee, little coffee house type thing, and people could still talk quietly, play cards, whatever. And he just like played background music and sang.
That's great.
Kathy,
Nice.
that's
He's great.
nice.
He's really,
Yes.
really talented.
Now,
A couple
don't you
years
have
ago I
the,
did
the
that.
swing band too on our senior night for Old Home Day?
Not
Is that
this
the
year.
Wyndham Swing Band? But it used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It used to be the Wyndham
Wow,
Swing Band, but
all
not
right.
this year.
So changing it up this year?
Yeah.
Well, and you'll find out why.
And so actually,
Okay.
that's kind of leads us right into what we have this year is a bonus concert,
Right.
where normally the August 7th, we're kind of bookended by the high school jazz ensemble and when senior week is, and then we always stop the week before Old Home Day. But this year, Old Home Day approached us and asked if we wouldn't produce the concert that's normally at Old Home Day.
Right, the senior
And,
night.
The senior night, but not make it a senior night this time, try to get a band that would have a wider appeal. And so we still wanted the swing band, and that's why we have the Wyndham Swing Band playing on June 12th. But on August 14th, we have another band that we had last year for the first time called Foreigner's Journey. And they just were like, wow.
Yeah,
And
I think of all the performers that we've had over the years, this was the one that more and more
Yes.
people came to us at the end and said, you have to
If
have
we
these
didn't get
folks
them back, we would have been run out of town.
Yeah.
I really
Actually,
think that.
and that was a tough night because
It was.
one of the things that goes on behind the scenes is if the weather is iffy, a call has to be made as to whether we're going to be on the bandstand or we're going to be in the school.
Yeah.
And I know that you were agonizing over that decision
Yes.
that
Yeah.
day. And they actually sent their sound crew up early in the afternoon and set up. And right up to showtime, there was a threat of rain and
It
thunderstorm.
rained actually while they were setting up.
Right.
And,
Drizzling.
But
and
then-
they
but
brought
then
a lot
then it
of
stopped.
equipment with
And
them.
then it
then.
cleared?
Yeah.
And then it cleared.
didn't
It held
clear
off
up,
and-
it held off. It
but
was more like, yeah. it
The
was
thing that
still
amazed me
from-
that night was the crowd that turned out. Usually when it's iffy like that,
Yeah.
the weather is sketchy, we have a lower turnout. But the Common was packed that night. People had a great time. They were dancing out on
Had
the lawn.
Tons of dancers.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So that's
I
going to be a
think this
great way to
band has
kick
a-
off that
So
that celebration.
Yeah, it's going to be huge, I think,
Yeah.
for
That's
Old Home Day
excellent.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a wise choice to go with them.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
the
for
nice
sure.
thing
Yeah.
about it, the way the Old Home Day Committee has organized it is they'll still have the senior barbecue prior to the
Kathy's in
concert.
charge of that
I'm
this
going
year.
to charge
Exactly.
of
that this year.
Yeah.
And which is a huge event for the seniors, and they can still walk across
Absolutely.
to
Mhm.
see Foreigner's
Right,
Journey,
right.
but it's not going to be just senior specific as
Right.
far as the
Nice.
It'll
concert
be
goes.
bringing-
They'll welcome
You
a
can
lot.
bring
That's-
younger people in.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
we'll still have the
That's great.
barbecue truck and the ice cream truck and
Right.
the GP. So,
Right.
Very good.
So
Be
So-
great
That
to
should be
incorporate the
fun.
seniors into the group.
Very nice.
I'm going to put Stephen on the spot here.
uh-oh.
You know, the contributions that we get from the local community make this happen, and but the passion that Stephen and Julie have for concerts on the Common and booking quality acts really is a key to the success of this whole program. And because of what we've been able to do, Stephen's been able to hire a sound person to come in and provide professional sound when the band doesn't bring their own. And the other thing that he was more than instrumental in making happen is people that have been to the Common in the past few years have undoubtedly noticed the lighting on stage. And I'm going to put you on the spot and have you explain how that all came about. But I can remember in the old days when the sun was going down, there were a couple of 40-watt bulbs in the ceiling.
Yeah.
It was pretty dingy, but
The artists were in
we had-
silhouette.
We had the
Yeah.
best backlighting
Yeah.
of any bandstand
Yeah.
in New
Exactly.
England.
But tell us a little bit about
Well,
what happened and how you made that happen.
So the lighting was always terrible, and we'd get people coming up after the concert and say, man, the band was fantastic, especially later in the season when it gets dark. But their lighting wasn't very good. It's like, well, you know, it's not their lighting, that's our
It's our
lighting.
lighting.
It's
Yeah.
not very good. And so we'd always wanted to fix it, but we really didn't know really how to even go about it. But I switched jobs back in 2010, and I started working for Philips Color Kinetics down in Burlington. And what do? But they do LED lighting for outdoor
For
When
architecture.
things are meant to
architectural
be.
lighting and things like that.
Wow.
And so the first year I was there, I started kind of asking about, hey, would Color Kinetics want to help fix the lighting on our bandstand? And things happened where nothing really moved forward for valid reasons for many years. But then we got super lucky. This woman from Berlin, Germany, Etta Daneman, came to Color Kinetics for 9 months, and she's a lighting designer. And she was there to teach engineers like myself and others there about lighting design. So we had a better understanding of how lighting designers would use our products to light buildings and facades and such. And so when I heard about her coming, I talked to the person that was kind of sponsoring her coming over from Berlin, and I said, hey, why don't we use the bandstand as a real life
Use case.
use case that we could use for training people, and then we can actually light it up. and they were all over
Smart
it.
move.
And so the second day that Etta was there, I went out to lunch with her and her sponsor, and we talked about it with Etta, and she just loved it. She thought it was a great idea. It was a great vehicle for her to put together. So she put together from scratch a 9-week training program that I think we had 18 people, 18 engineers sign up for. And I mean, it started with how light enters your eye and how the eye reacts to the lighting designers of today and all the different approaches that they take for lighting and such. And so just soup to nuts. And a big part of it then was the bandstand and how do you approach it? You know, you step back and say, okay, is this bandstand? What are we trying to do? What are the different fixtures that we have available to use? And what's the feeling that we want to get out of this? And it was fantastic. We just had a blast with it. I remember having dinner at our house in I
So
think
at the
April.
end of the
Yeah.
at the end of the course.
End of the course, everyone had submitted. So everyone had we had homework every week, and one of the things was we had to do a design for the bandstand. And we had to present it to the rest of the group. Here's how we do it. And we had all kinds of ideas. We had one guy who wanted to paint it completely black and just put up lights that then would shine at you and kind of light up the performers in a different kind of way. And it was an interesting concept.
Black on our town common.
Yeah, we
Right,
didn't do it.
I didn't think
We
Londonderry
didn't do
would
that.
really like that.
But we had all kinds of ideas, and that guy was super smart, and he still contributed tons to what we ended up with. So I'm not belittling that at all, but just there was a wide range. But one of the things you have to do when you're doing lighting design is you have to go in and test out your concepts before you just buy all these fixtures and put them up. You have to make sure it's going to work. And so we had a dinner at our house on a weekend, and we had several people came up. And of course you have to do it at night because
Right.
what we're doing is we brought out ladders, and so it was people holding the lights up at the ceiling and people standing there and like, okay, can we get away with one light? Do we need two lights on you to make
You
it
mean right
look
on the
like?
common? You were doing this.
Right,
We were-
right on the
yeah, at
course,
night
yeah.
on a Saturday
There was
night.
snow all around us
Yeah.
because it was still
It was
cold.
still in
It
March,
was
yeah.
freezing our butts off.
Yeah.
But we had a blast doing it.
See, and again, you
And,
never know behind the scenes what it takes to get to where we
Yeah.
are.
well,
here.
and
we
we
all
didn't
take it for
realize,
granted.
yeah.
Wow, but all the hours that you and
Yeah.
Julie have put in.
And all the people, all the hours that
And you
people
do
that
it,
work
you know, I
put
mean,
into
it takes a
Well, we had
village.
no money until Larry came
Hey.
along. Larry's our main man, so that's
Well,
when
long story short, though, on the lighting is that we ended up with a beautiful design.
that Etta really pulled
Exactly,
everything together.
and then Philips Color Kinetics donated all those
All the
lights.
fixtures.
Yeah,
Oh,
over
they
$50,000.
donated all the lights.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
the only expense to the town was
Right.
Installing.
the wire,
Right,
installing
so
the
Steve
wiring.
Cotton was
Our Steve Cotton,
amazing.
Yeah.
he really is.
Yeah.
Amazing. He
Amazing.
made sure
He
that
made it happen
everything
so
got
fast.
installed.
Yeah.
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 wow.
So I'm forever grateful to you for driving that.
Well,
I
we're
mean, I think
lucky
it makes a
that-
huge difference.
Yeah.
And,
Got a job at Philips Color Kinetics.
That's true.
but that's
So
that,
thank you to Color Kinetics for doing it
Yeah.
once again.
But that's kind of an interesting evolution of that bandstand, because my understanding is, you know, I've been in town for 35 years and always took it for granted, but my understanding is that it was designed by an MIT sound engineer.
Yeah.
And there's a story behind that you're more up to speed on than I am, but that was a professionally designed
It's
bandstand.
really
And
incredible to look
it
at.
kind of fell into disrepair, and
Yeah.
Brian Farmer's credit, he
Yeah.
um,
He was on the town
pushed to get
council
it
at the time.
renovated and, you know, have a new facade put up and paint and that sort of thing. But that's really
It really is a
It's a real
treasure.
jewel.
You know,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of bands come and say, you know, this is such a great venue to perform in because it projects the sound the way it's designed. And he said, a lot of folks will say it's so much better than just a gazebo, which
Oh,
is so
gazebo,
quaint.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is
doesn't work for
perfect for,
sound, yeah.
for performers.
So when you come to the concert, and in fact, if you listen to the Wyndham Swing Band, if you look at the configuration of the back wall of the stage, it's actually a cone-shaped structure. And they can play on that bandstand without any amplification, and it projects the
just
sound
projects
out
right
onto
out,
the
yeah.
common, and they sound wonderful. It's
Yeah.
an amazing thing.
Yeah, it really is cool. And that was one of the things last year we had. So we have a program that we hand out at every concert. It's like this. And you open it up, and there's all the performers and stuff, and you turn to the back, and there are the logos from all of our generous sponsors. But last year we had so many sponsors that we had to put piece of paper in it with
insert.
on both an insert with
Yeah,
logos
we graduated
on
from
both sides.
the one half
Yeah.
sheet.
Impressive.
But that gave us a blank back, and we're like, well, what are we going to do with this blank back on the program? And so we thought, well, why don't we do some history, dig into the history of the bandstand, because we had, from doing the lighting, we got hold of the actual
The
the
blueprints.
blueprints of the design of the
Town
bandstand.
had them.
And we saw that it was signed by Jeffrey Guchin, the gentleman that Larry's
Oh, my
referring to.
goodness.
And so we did some research on Jeffrey, thank you, Google.
Yeah.
And just an amazing story. He was just an amazing person. He was one of the best stride piano players in New England. And he actually plays the piano on Arlo Guthrie's
Oh.
City of New Orleans.
City of New Orleans. Thank you.
Mhm.
So
And
if you know
did
that
he
song.
live here in Londonderry?
No, he didn't live in London.
He was an
He's-
MIT grad student.
MIT, yeah. But then, so we dug into, well, how in the world did we get this
Right.
this guy to come up and do this
Yeah.
design of this? And it was a woman that was on, they had some money left over from an event that, and some people in town said, hey, we should build a bandstand. And of course,
Was
it took
for
many,
one of
many years.
the founding anniversaries? I feel like it might
It
have
was
been.
something like that.
Mhm.
And if you want the details, it's on our website,
Yeah.
because we put the story in 2 parts last year on the program.
Right.
And so I put it up on the website so that it's kind of there, and you can look at the original
Oh,
plans.
I'm
that's
gonna do
and
that
stuff.
tonight when I go
Yeah.
home because
Yeah,
it sounds
I know,
so
it's so
interesting.
That
interesting.
really
It is. It's
That's-
really, the guy is just amazing. He became, in his later years, unfortunately he passed a few years ago, in his later years he became one of the best quilting people in the world.
Yeah.
And he wrote like this
Goodness.
book that's like the Bible.
A
of-
true Renaissance man.
Yeah,
Yes.
unbelievable
Amazing.
guy.
But he
A
designed the
genius.
Hit Factory, right?
The Hit Factory, he
in-
designed
in
the
New
Hit
York
Factory
City?
in New York City. It was the last studio that John Lennon
recording
recorded at.
studio.
Recording studio that he recorded at
Right,
before
my
he
goodness.
was killed.
Mhm.
So really a phenomenal guy. And that, just to learn about that as part of the bandstand, it's kind of like with Etta from Berlin, Germany, doing the lighting.
Yeah.
It's just really amazing
amazing.
how all of these things come together
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
Put you where you're supposed to be, I think,
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know why we're somewhere, but then it's like, oh, this is why,
is
the
Yes,
direction.
absolutely.
That's how we ended up here in the
Yeah.
Londonderry View.
Yeah.
The same thing, it's like, here we are, but, and my understanding is that, like, once the foundation was set, that there were 2 gentlemen that lived in town that were really like the nailing
Yeah.
and the,
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
one guy was
Volunteer
not even,
bills.
he lived in Tewksbury. And now he lives here now. I don't recall his name, but
He would come up on weekends.
for
to
Yes,
work on the
2
band.
years,
Yeah, and-
2 years he did
and
that.
it wasn't that, it's not my job mentality at
Yeah.
all. It's like these 2 men and many helpers, I'm
Yes.
sure, gave their time hours upon hours. I
Yes.
mean, that it wouldn't be there for all these good
No.
people.
No.
And it's kind of what you're all doing now, because you're not banging the nails per se, even though you've done some. But I mean, if you didn't put in all the hours you are, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it,
We're
and the
just-
hundreds of
yeah,
people
we're
wouldn't
just-
be enjoying it every week.
Yeah, we're just stewarding the.
You really are,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
and
for sure.
most people wouldn't know. Like, we had no idea the depth of this. Or even a few emails, every season, oh, this is what's coming up. And
Right.
wow, I guess we all take so much for granted, because I know I do. I just assume I can go, when John and I want to go, and
Yep.
and but to get where. But just like a couple. So the Londonderry Arts Council, then, because that's another unsung hero. We have all like the Senior Resource Committee, but the Londonderry Arts, just give us like a little bit about the Londonderry Arts
Sure,
Committee too, because
sure.
that's important.
Well, our mission is really to enrich the culture of the community and create opportunities for community members and artists to interact. So as Steve indicated, there's kind of 2 dimensions to it. One is the art side, and we do have an event coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
That'd be May, just to get a date out.
Yeah,
there.
I'm
Oops.
bad on dates, but
May 18th and 19th.
18th and 19th, it'll be at the farm stand at Max Apples. It's called Art in Action, and there'll be a number of artists there working over the course of 2 days. And the idea behind that is that they're actually working on a live piece of art, so you can actually interact with them, talk to them about their craft and how they work in their medium, and what inspires them and that sort of thing. So that's an example of what we do. We also have something called the Arts Cafe, which we've been running for 3 or 4 years now, and I bring musicians
That's kind of a mix where we
Yeah,
overlap a bit.
it's like an art show with a music component to it. And we put on an acoustic music event. I invite musicians to come and perform at that. And then the other thing we have going on from a music standpoint is something called the Nutfield Sessions, which I started with a friend of mine, Greg Dakota, who lives here in town. He's a neighbor of mine, phenomenally gifted musician. He's a luthier. He builds acoustic instruments. And we got some friends together one afternoon at the Lions Hall many, many years ago, about 15 years ago, had an open mic, which is just an open invitation. If you're a musician, you come through the door, you sign up on a sheet, you're called to the stage in the order you sign up and you perform. And you get a range of musicians. You get people that are just starting out, you get people that play professionally. And it kind of took off, and we ran it independently for many, many years, and then decided that it was a natural fit with the Art Council because we would be bringing music to different events, a summer finale, you know, an art show on the Common. And so this year we've kicked off the Nutfield Sessions again, and we're running it at O'Shea's Coffee and Tea here in town.
You guys
Oh, we
were
just did our show
Yeah.
there. That's
So,
right, yes.
We saw
I
that.
We run it on the first Thursday of the month. We're going to
It's all
take the
coming
months.
together.
Yeah, we're going to take it off in July and August because of vacations and that sort of thing. But again, it's an open mic sort of thing. We have no idea who's going to walk through the door. The first one we ran, we had a young man, I think he's from Londonderry, maybe a high school student, who put on a suit of armor and played an electric guitar. And
He did.
he
You never
had a
know what you're
ball
gonna
and we
see.
had a ball
What
listening to
time-
him. So
What
Oh,
time
yeah,
of day does this happen?
It's at 6 at night,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
6 to 9.
from 6 to 9.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
At O'Shea's.
And O'Shea's has been great because
Yeah,
what
fantastic.
they now have a special evening menu that they
Oh,
that they
She was
herb
tell-
that
oh,
they
yeah, she was
serve.
telling us
Yes.
about it. That's
Yeah.
And
right.
you can
Shrimp,
you can
a
get
little bit of shrimp,
yes.
a little bit of this.
You
Yeah.
can get a glass of wine, you can
Yeah.
get a glass of Guinness, and you know it's really just such a
Yeah.
relaxing
Mm.
evening. And if you
Great-
haven't
great
been,
atmosphere.
I would totally. It's so much fun. It really
Yeah.
is.
Said it
Really
was
is.
very good when
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
did the show with her.
Yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
She
super
was
supportive.
telling us
And
about
in
that,
Carmel,
and it
yeah,
starts
and-
at 6.
Yeah.
That's right, Bonnie, yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing. We're, and in addition to the bonus concert to kick off the Old Home Day celebration, one of our members, John, is going to be organizing a chalk event, sidewalk chalk
I
event.
love the I've only
that-
seen it other places, like in California, and true artwork on the sidewalk.
Right, so
Or
he's
in a-
he's in the process of organizing that and bringing that together. So we're always looking for new input, new members, and new ways to bring the arts to the community.
That's why, well, thank you for all you do with them, too.
Thank you.
Because again, it's all those things that make the community what it is, you know, the work that everyone does. And, well, the time seemed to go awful quickly
Yeah,
for
it
us.
did
It
go
just seemed to
quick
pass,
last
as it
night, yeah.
always does. Anything else, any other shout outs or a special thanks to all those sponsors?
Absolutely.
And to
absolutely.
more, hopefully more are going to come in because it's for the community and it's, they serve thousands upon thousands
And, you know,
throughout the
we
summer.
certainly encourage them too to set up tables at each concert if they'd like
Absolutely.
to
Welcome
have
to
promotional
come
material.
And greet our concert
and
goers.
see-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
We
point,
definitely
good point.
encourage them to, it's a great opportunity
Wow.
to get out into the community and stuff.
And the concerts start at what time?
Oh, good point.
7:30 to,
No,
I'm sorry,
7 to
8:30.
8:30.
Okay.
7 to
Yeah.
8:30.
Seven.
And you can find out more on our website, concertsonthecommon.org. But we're also, our main, I'd say the main interaction we have is through Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And so if you just go to, I think we have a link on one of the slides that we provided, and I think it's, if you just go to Concerts in the Common in Facebook, you'll find our page. And that's where we'll say, if we're, we announce the concerts, we put events up there for each concert. We also will communicate if we're going to be inside because of bad weather. So that's where we get the word out. So you want to watch that if it looks iffy.
Which, according to Julie, we will not have
Correct.
this year.
It's hashtag No Rain Wednesdays
Right.
this year.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like that.
It's trending.
That
It's
is
trending.
perfect.
That's a
Yeah. That is perfect. Well, wow.
Say happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there,
Oh, happy
since that's
Mother's
coming up
Day.
in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But Thank you
Wonderful.
for coming on the show
Oh,
and
thanks for having us.
enlightening us and giving us information we didn't know. I am definitely going to get onto the website tonight and check out the
Super.
construction of the
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gazebo
it
over
is.
there.
It is
Wonderful.
amazing.
The stage.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Boy, and come out to the concerts on the Common.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We have a lot of
Concerts.
fun.
Yeah, all right, well, we thank you for being with us tonight.
Yeah,
We
thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You know, the unsung heroes that make all this happen, and we'll see you the next time on the Londonderry View. Good night.